Hello and welcome
Welcome, everyone. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Parrish.
Yeah.
A giant mess.
Welcome, everyone, to Paper Reviews. Great previews. I'm Chris Parrish, alongside with Andre C. and Ed. How are you guys doing?
It's been a day, but I'm excited for Summerslam tonight. I'm excited.
Yeah, Summerslam's gonna be great when I get to watch it eventually.
What are you guys
'cause I
all
gotta
looking
work.
forward to?
I mean, for me, it's got to be the main event. Tribal Combat, Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. It has to be that. It's the best told story in all of wrestling for the past couple of years. It has to be Tribal Combat.
Story-wise, I agree with Ed, but story-wise, I agree with Ed. For me personally, the match of the night for me is going to be it's Finn and Seth. Like that's the one. Those guys are gonna fucking kill it in the ring. I cannot wait.
Well, if we're talking about guys that are going to kill it, you got to look at Gunther, Drew McIntyre. For me, they're going to kick the crap out of one another. I'm looking forward to this match. This is going to be hard hitting. This is going to be absolutely brutality, and you got to look at the same with Cody and Brock. But before we get anywhere, want to let everyone know that if you're watching this live today on the Saturday, this was pre-recorded. So just know that we pre-recorded this on Friday. So, if you're going to comment, please do so, but understand you're probably not going to respond because we're not there. But I think we might as well just kick it off right now and kick it off with the opening match, which is Logan Paul versus Ricochet. And one of the reasons why this is probably the opener is not a lot of people know, but Logan Paul did reveal on an episode of Impulso with Seth freaking Rollins that he plans to fly out to Dallas directly after the match to walk out with his brother, Jake Paul, for his fight against Nate Diaz. But what are you guys looking forward to with this matchup?
Well, for me, I'm looking forward. Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to the athleticism of what these guys are going to do. Like just after the whole the Rumble spot with them crashing into each other, and then they'll have just see what these guys, what kind of, they're going to have a big spot where both of them are going to do something crazy athletic, and it's going to be kind of awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the athleticism of both these guys, the ability to bring Ricochet up a bit, because Logan Paul isn't working with just anybody. So if you're working a match with Logan Paul, like when you're working a match with Bad Bunny, this is an important match because the company wants to put people with Logan Paul that people are going to recognize. That's going to be something. He's worked with Seth Rollins. He's worked with The Miz. He's worked with Rey Mysterio. He's worked with Roman Reigns. He doesn't work matches against guys at the bottom of the card. So if they're putting him in this match with Ricochet, and this is a match that he wanted, then that means it's a big deal to him and it's a big deal to the company. And they are going to absolutely be the perfect match to open the show.
Yeah, and I wanted to add because the one thing that you can have your opinion on Logan Paul all you want, but the one thing that you can't deny is the fact that when this guy's in the ring, he performs, he does his job, and he always delivers. And there's a consistency to Logan Paul that you just have to respect. He has earned the respect of his peers behind the scenes, and you can tell when he does interviews on Impulsive. You can just tell through so many exclusive interviews and stuff like that. And the fact that the company, WWE, and even Triple H, who's been always high on Ricochet, this is the match that they chose on easily their second biggest PLE that they have behind WrestleMania. Ricochet is primed, pun intended, for one of the biggest opportunities of his career. And Logan Paul, whether you like him or not, is an opportunity because of the fans and the eyes that he brings onto this product.
Yeah, it's absolutely the reason why this match is happening. It's not only to put Logan Paul on the card and have a name there. It's to elevate Ricochet, to bring him up to the next level, and potentially United States champion, and someday potentially maybe try to get him back in that world title picture.
Yeah,
I believe both of them
I would
are
love
on
to see
Raw,
Ricochet.
so they'd be going after the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I would
Not
love
just
to
a
see
crown. They'd
Ricochet
be an
versus.
Intercontinental.
That would be to me amazing if you got Ricochet and Seth Rollins, because that, I think, easily a headlining pay-per-view match.
Yeah, and it's very curious to see what kind of the post Summerslam plans for both Logan Paul and Ricochet are. But I mean, we can deal with that later. The single fact that these two are in the ring, yes, Andre, like you're right. Like the athleticism is going to be off the charts. You go back to Royal Rumble with their spot. I mean, I can tell you from a live atmosphere that there was so much shock and just absolute, oh my God, when they saw that. And then when you looked at what they tried to do at Money in the Bank, and you kind of look at kind of the examples of what goes right, what can go wrong, but at the same time, the creativity and the innovativeness, they're going to do something that makes you go, wow. But until we see that, let's go around the room. Who do you guys predict to be the winner of this matchup?
Andre?
I'm gonna pick Logan Paul. He has taken so many losses over the last while. I don't think it hurt. I think Ricochet is elevated even in a loss, so he's still gonna look strong. And Logan Paul, because he's lost so many times in a row, I think Ricochet is a guy he can get and kind of rebuild him in a winning way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I'm going to go ahead and take Astrid's favorite Puerto Rican wrestler, Logan Paul.
All right, I'm actually going to go with Ricochet on this one. I think. Andre?
I think I broke Andre.
But yeah, no, I think this is Logan Paul is just a strange cat. He is someone that has taken a lot of losses, as you said, Andre. But at the same time, I don't think anybody cares that he loses and is there. I don't think it matters. I don't think people look at him as the same breath as they would a Ricochet in the win and loss column. But for this, I'm taking Ricochet because I do think when you watch Monday Night Raw on Monday, you're going to see Ricochet. You're probably not going to see Logan Paul. So I'm taking Ricochet with his infamous 630 because, as he said on a recent interview, he brings that up when the time is right and for special occasions. I think SummerSlam fits that bill.
Absolutely.
And also just let everybody know the matches we're going to talk about are ones that I think are going to be the order. I'm going to put myself out there because I don't want to throw any shade to anybody else. So if it's wrong, blame me. If it's right, cheer me. Yeah. But next up, I got.
Talk about all the matches. It doesn't matter what order we talk about them in.
I know, but people on the internet are fickle. We all know that. Next up, I have the hard-hitting Intercontinental title match. Drew McIntyre challenges for the Intercontinental champion, Gunther. Outside of bruises on the chest, possibly some lacerations, what do you guys expect from just pure brutality?
So something interesting I saw this week on X on Twitter. Somebody was taking portions of a Drew McIntyre interview where he talked about how everybody wants him to turn heel. And he talks about how there's so much invested in him with the Special Olympics and with other things he's doing that it would have to be the right circumstances and it'd have to be the right offer to get him to turn heel. I have a feeling Triple H is going to find that offer. He's going to find that thing. I think this is where we get a Drew McIntyre heel turn. I don't know. I don't quite know how you turn heel on Gunther. Maybe he cheats to win to ruin the streak. something like that. He does something dastardly that even Gunther's like, why would you do that? But I think that at the end of the day, you've sank so much time into Gunther's Intercontinental Championship reign. If he doesn't break the record, it all seems like a waste.
Andre.
Yeah. Dude, if this thing's like 2/3 WrestleMania match or same as, it'll be a banger of a time. See my math. But yeah, it's interesting because like I love Gunther but I've never been a big Drew McIntyre fan. The first time I really got into Drew McIntyre was at Gunther and Sheamus. So I'm expecting them to really go above and beyond what match and really deliver probably one of the best strong style matches, if you want to call it that, because it's just gonna be two dudes literally beating each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a soft spot in my heart for Drew McIntyre because he got such a great push when he won the Royal Rumble. And that was in front of thousands of fans that were just elated when he won, especially when he eliminated Brock Lesnar. But then he had to win the championship in front of no one, had a title reign in front of no one. Very much seemed his luster was lost. And he's been trying to find that ever since, or that's what it seems like. Like you said, Andre, that WrestleMania triple threat was just an absolute banger. His match with Roman at the Clash at the Castle was awesome. The thing about Drew McIntyre is he's very capable of having great matches. But right now, it doesn't seem like the fans are behind him as much as they used to be. And as much as they are behind Gunther in the sense of how much they respect what he's doing for that Intercontinental Championship. And I believe Gunther is sitting, since this is being played on a Saturday, at 414 days as Intercontinental Champion, which means he is 40 days away from tying the Honky Tonk Man streak. As we saw in Monday Night Raw, he began something with Chad Gable. I'm not only thinking Drew McIntyre is going to lose this match, but I do believe, Ed, you're right, this is going to lead to a heel turn. I just don't think it's going to be at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It could happen at any point. The idea that Drew's throwing out there that it would have to be the right circumstances for everything he's doing, it sounds so John Cena-esque. Because that was always the thing with Cena, is Cena was never, I can't turn heel again. He was always like, it has to be the right opportunity with the right creative to do the right thing because of all of the credibility I've built with the children, because of the Make-A-Wish stuff, with all of Cena's accomplishments and things he was doing. It had to be a specific thing that he would to make him turn heel again. And I think the same feeling with Drew McIntyre, where he feels like that's where his character is, and that's the things he does. It's the Special Olympics. It's going out and dealing with all this publicity and being the babyface who does all of that. And you can have a heel do that, but you got to be careful with how you do it. I would love to see Drew McIntyre with gold again. It would be fantastic. But there's no way Gunther loses this match. There's no way he loses before he breaks the record. He is going to be the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. And then almost remotely, minutes after he becomes the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, I take that thing off of him and I push him straight to the Royal Rumble to have him win the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't see any way they take the title off of point again. He's going to be the Gunther Tonk Man or something at that point. I really hope they don't get goofy with him because like he's got again he's been very willing to break a lot of records in this last while, and have an opportunity to do it here at the Intercontinental title, they're going to go for it. I have a feeling Roman Reigns holds the title for another year and a half because they want him to beat Hulk Hogan's reign, or the next one on the list. Like there is a lot what they want to do to set these records. Or is it Bob Back? They want him up. They want him at like in one of the top couple spots. So
because he just passed Hulk Hogan for number 3.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Dude,
there it is.
He's not going to touch
Sammartino's number like 1,200. No, never. But like you can do that with Gunther. No. You can set a record here, and I think WWE not pulling that trigger and giving him the record.
Well, and we're only talking 40 days. I mean, that's 1 month, more or less. Basically, Survivor Series, he could break it, but I'm just going to pull up the date of Survivor Series. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think – I think WWE, I think Creative, I think they're very much aware of the record. And to only make Gunther the most dominant Intercontinental champion of all time, that definitely puts a feather in the cap to that argument. However, when I'm looking at guys who are believable to beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title, Drew McIntyre deserves to be in that category. However, there is something about what I saw on Monday watching Gunther against Chad Gable and the fact that that story isn't finished. I believe Chad Gable could very well be that guy. As we've seen in the past, Gunther has a weird thing about dropping historic title reigns to smaller athletes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think we're all agreed. Gunther wins.
Yeah. Gunther across the board?
Yep.
I think so.
All right. Next up, I have the good old SummerSlam Battle Royal sponsored by Slim Jim. Ooh, yeah.
Dang it.
I mean, you got to think Macho Man when you talk about Slim Jim, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you guys kind of go with it because I'm obviously just going to say this match is made and designed with everybody saying for LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anybody else we need to talk about in this match that we need to discuss? Like, Grayson Waller probably going to get a good showing in this match. AJ's probably going to get a good showing in this match. But at the end of the day, it's LA Knight, right? Like, there's nothing else to talk about. It's whose game is it? It's LA Knight's game.
Yeah, and as of right now,
or
go ahead.
No, it's LA Knight. As simple as that. It's LA Knight. One more time, LA Knight. If he doesn't win this, the WWE is just the Triple H man I've ever seen book wrestling. If he doesn't book LA Knight to win this,
and like so everybody's oh, go ahead, Riharish. You got it.
I was just gonna let everybody know like who actually is so far announced for this battle royal. In case you want to know if there's anybody other than LA Knight or if it's just a one-man show. But it's Sheamus, Karrion Kross, Grayson Waller, Shinsuke Nakamura, Santos Escobar, Matt Riddle, AJ Styles, The Miz. Tommaso Ciampa, Chad Gable, and Otis were announced for the Battle Royal, but their graphics were not shown on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was just going to say
in there as well.
Probably. Here's the thing, like everybody's talked about LA Knight and they've talked about he needs to be pushed and he needs to win the US title and he needs to do this and he needs to do that. Like even LA Knight said it after the bell. Like it takes time to rework booking that you've already had planned. You can throw it in the bin and go, we've got to get something else to happen. But there are certain things they wanted to do. They wanted to make sure that they got Santos Escobar over in that United States tournament. mission accomplished. They wanted to make sure that Rey Mysterio got one last chance to help put over some of the guys that he wants before Rey is, sooner rather than later, going to be hanging up the mask once and for all. There are certain things that they wanted to do before they get to LA Knight being the champion. Now, he's got enough momentum that he can wait a month or two. This isn't going to end up like Daniel Bryan, where it's going to be a stop-start push because he's constantly getting hurt. He wrestles a different style than Daniel Bryan. He hasn't had the pain that Daniel Bryan's gone through. He doesn't have the physical things that Daniel Bryan's gone through. As soon as they get the moment where they know they can push him, he's going to get pushed to the moon. To the moon. And it's just a wait and see. And this is the first step.
And I think what I loved best about when he was talking on After the Bell, which if you haven't listened to it, please do. It's a great interview with him. He flat out was asked if this run needs to have a championship. And he said, I don't know. Because the one thing that this run should have is an upwards and forward trajectory. Whether or not that's a championship, that's not for me to say. I don't know. But you want to do something where this doesn't become stagnant. And I think that's obviously when you know you need to change it up, because that is the one point as a professional wrestler you never want to get to. So it's very interesting to hear LA Knight about looking in the mirror on seeing how he is, because when you hear Twitter, no, he needs it right now. It has to be right now. The fact that it isn't right now, it's been a mistake. They've been booking him improper. But at the same time, you got to let things be patient, and you have to let things work out. Now, the one question I did want to ask you guys: what did you? What does the SummerSlam Battle Royal winner get? I know I don't think they've announced it, but in your eyes, what do you think is going to come to the winner of this Battle Royal?
A sponsorship to do the Slim Jim commercials.
No. They're gonna get a dump truck full of Slim Jims delivered to their house.
I mean, look, let's put it this way. What does LA Knight get if he wins this? He gets a prominent spot on the SummerSlam card, and he gets to keep himself in the mind's eye as we go ahead and have Santos Escobar take on Austin Theory next week on SmackDown for the United States title. He's the next in line. That's what's next for the winner of this. It's Austin Theory, because it's going to be LA Knight. He's going to win, and he's going to get that opportunity and most likely take the title off of Austin Theory at the next opportunity.
Yeah. So across the board, we're all in agreement. LA Knight wins this Battle Royal. Now, for fun, who is he thrown out last to win?
Karrion Kross.
Andre?
Otis. I love Otis.
I'm gonna go with Grayson Waller.
They had a big thing between Waller, Knight, and Kross tonight. That's the only reason why I say Kross.
Yeah.
Is because they had something special with them tonight where they specifically singled out the three of them.
Now, is this maybe that's going to be your final three? There is something going on between Kross and Waller to where one of them eliminates the other, and then Knight quickly scoops them over and wins this?
Probably. Sounds about right.
All right.
That seems right.
Now, if everybody thought that was easily predicted, we go to our next match, which is an MMA rules match between Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey in what is speculated to be Ronda Rousey's last match with the WWE. Yes, I said MMA rules, which means you can only win by knockout, tap out, or pass out, just like any MMA regulated fight. If Shayna Baszler does not win this, you can color me shocked, or I will just drink a lot more alcoholic beverages. However, what do you guys think?
Andre?
If it's not Shayna Baszler, I really, really, really don't know what they're doing. Because again, all the speculation is Ronda's leaving, and for her not to put Shayna over on her wedding's guaranteed. To me, and again, this is one of your best friends in the world. I think if Ronda is either, if she's not leaving forever, or maybe she's taking time away again, she'll put Shayna over. Like, she's not going to do that. She wouldn't from her friend in this situation.
The only way I see Ronda Rousey winning this match is if Ronda's not leaving within the next 20 days. If there's not enough time if there's enough time where they plan on doing a second match, something more definitive, because I heard it said on somebody else's show and I liked the idea. This is an MMA rules match. You could let Ronda win an MMA rules match and then have Shayna challenge her to a wrestling match. Because the whole thing about this is that Ronda followed Shayna into wrestling. And wrestling is where Shayna has excelled, where Ronda excelled at everything beforehand. So the fact that it's an MMA rules match, if there's going to be a second match, that Shayna would win the wrestling match as opposed to winning an MMA rules match. I don't know. I like the idea of having the two matches. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Shayna just wins outright here, and Ronda goes away, and hopefully we never have to hear from her again in the world of WWE. Or in any world, for that matter. She can just go to her farm and raise her kid and be with her husband, Travis Brown, and just do her thing, and I never have to see or hear from her again, and that'd be great. I'd be cool with that. But either way, I pick Shayna Baszler.
I'm going to say it. I don't actually hate what you just said because it makes a lot of sense. However, I've also been hearing rumors that Ronda Rousey has been looking to get back into the UFC following WWE. So, if hey, CM Punk wants to wrestle again, Ronda Rousey wants to fight again. Sometimes these athletes, I do think, need a drink to smarten up. However,
sometimes bad things just happen.
With that being said, I think it's very poetic that no matter what happens, the single fact that these two people met in the octagon, they became friends through MMA, they became really great friends through the mixed martial arts game, and you even saw on The Ultimate Fighter that Shayna Baszler was on Team Rousey with Jessica Menduke and I think Marina Shafir somewhat involved in as well, thus creating that 4 horsewomen of the MMA.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's no better and more fitting ending than Ronda Rousey tapping out to Shayna Baszler simply because we all know how special Ronda Rousey was in the MMA world. She was a face of that women revolution for MMA. There's no denying that. However, we know that when it comes to professional wrestling, Shayna Baszler is the face of professional wrestling in the 4 horsewomen. In that version of it. As, are you still with us? Yeah.
I think he's still here.
Yeah. He's pulling John Cena. We can't see him right now. But
Ed Cena.
This past Monday was a very great way of selling this match to me. This is the one and only Ronda Rousey feud I actually have an emotional investment about because you know it's real. You know the friendship's real. You know the caring about each other is real. And for that, I think this is going to be probably Ronda Rousey's best match, simply because her intention is to make her best friend look like $1 million. And yes, I'm taking Shayna Baszler by tap out.
Yeah, same here.
Andre?
Shayna Baszler by doctor stoppage.
Yeah, that works.
Awesome. Well, we're going to maybe need a doctor for a potential stoppage in what I think is the next match here, and that is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, taking on the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. The series is tied 1-1 with these two. You have to think that this ends and concludes tonight at SummerSlam. You have to think Cody Rhodes is winning this match. But my question is, how or does he even have to?
I mean, I think you have to have Cody go over. I think you have to have Cody vanquish the Beast. I think at this point now, I think Cody's whole thing from here to Mania might just be beat everybody who Roman Reigns has beat as best you can. Conquer Brock Lesnar. Conquer Seth Rollins. Conquer Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn. Go over these guys that Roman has beaten and try to get your way back to the tribal chief. To get your way back to that. But I also want to go back to this Monday because, again, I'm stealing from After the Bell again because in wrestling, you don't steal from people. You just borrow what's really interesting and good. Corey Graves talked about the segment on Monday night and how Brock Lesnar came to that ring and he wasn't the normal Brock Lesnar. He didn't have a smile on his face. He just came to the ring and he wanted to shake Cody's hand and be like, this weekend we go to war, and it is what it is. And Cody shook his hand, and Brock walked away. He didn't attack him. He didn't pull nothing. He just wanted to shake Cody's hand and walk away. And when his back was turned, Cody Rhodes attacked him. Cody fired the first shot. And Brock Lesnar left him alive. And Brock always said, don't attack what you can't kill. And I think that's what we get here. We get an angry Cody Rhodes with an inch before his life, and he's going to use that 1 inch to fight, claw, and defeat Brock Lesnar. And I think it's at least 5 crossroads to get the job done.
Andre?
Yeah. I'm in the point of, because with all the rumors that Bray Wyatt's going to be facing whoever wins here, I'm like, God, I kind of want Cody to lose. But Cody is winning this. I have no doubt in that. Because, again, that's all they keep talking about, completing the story. This man, and that, especially after losing to Brock Lesnar last time, you really need the rehab. It's not rehab because again he's over no matter what, but you need to start rebuilding him again. I don't think he can for till we get to Mania and he beats Roman, but like it's those little things, and I can't wait to see how Cody get Brock Lesnar and just the will he's going to use and what because again he took the shot right on Monday. And does that mean, does Cody play the bad guy in this? Does he use underhanded tactics to vanquish the... I would love to see that. And you can still have Cody come out on Monday Night Raw and the crowd back. It's very possible. And you get explained away as, I had to do this to vanquish the Beast. I had to do those stupid little things. And I don't think it's going to be the cleanest of wins. I'm thinking like 10 to 12, but I still think it's going to be an underhanded win for Cody Rhodes.
The one thing I'm shocked and kind of surprised is the fact that there isn't a stipulation put into this match. You would think even beforehand, you were always hearing a lot of rumors that there was going to be a stipulation. A bull rope match was one that I heard a lot. And I'm very surprised that in a match like this, on a stage like SummerSlam, there wasn't something to make this bigger. However, if we're talking Bray Wyatt, I do see this being the match who would come in, and I would see him attacking Cody Rhodes. Because if I'm not mistaken, when Bray Wyatt was Husky Harris on the NXT, his pro was Cody Rhodes, was he not?
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be some historic reference to that, in my opinion. However, I don't think Cody Rhodes wins with a crossroads. I think he pulls something different out. And we've seen him use a sledgehammer to honor his hero and his mentor, Triple H. It's his favorite wrestler growing up. He's been openly saying that.
I know.
But
It's just funny to hear.
I do think he does something from a submission standpoint, though. And yes.
I just don't know if you can if Brock Lesnar lets anybody tap him out. I mean, that's there's only been a few guys who have ever made Brock tap, and that's sacred ground with that man because he doesn't mind getting beat, but he sure as hell doesn't like quitting.
I never said Brock Lesnar tapped out. But we saw a passage of pain that we were very easily criticized before. What if Cody Rhodes has a referee stopped because he beats up Brock Lesnar too much?
I mean, anything's possible.
I mean, he does have adrenaline in his soul. So. No. I do think a pin is more it closes the chapter better.
Yeah.
It's a better nail in the coffin. However,
it finishes the story.
I would love to see, which he sarcastically, I'm going to say he loves to hear that line. It's not a meme or anything in his eyes. But yeah, no, as you said, Andre, I still think he's the guy to take the title off Roman Reigns. I think that happens in Philadelphia at WrestleMania 40 in some way, shape, or form. I don't think he's lost it with the fans because the whoa thing only gets louder as the stadium gets larger. But there is something about this match that still makes me uncertain who the winner is. Yet, I'm picking Cody Rhodes. Are we all in agreement, Andre, Ed?
Yep, Cody for me.
Yep, Cody with a dirty, underhanded tactic.
Perhaps a sledge. But towards another match, and this would include the women's matches for the night, which we understand and we agree with the hashtag give the WWE women a chance trend that's been going on. As we know, the Trish Stratus Becky Lynch match was pulled. We don't understand why. We don't get it. We don't appreciate it. We don't even accept it, and we don't support you with that decision. However, the next match I have is for that WWE, what is it? Universal
Women's World Championship.
Yeah, but doesn't it say Universal on the title? It's weird.
I think it's something.
Or Undisputed.
Yeah.
But
it's Asuka SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yeah, Asuka defends her championship against both the EST and WWE Bianca Belair and the Queen, Charlotte Flair. This match is on paper a main event match for the women's side. And we have to look into this match with the possibility of Io Sky or Shirai, Io Sky.
Io Sky.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, it's Io Shirai too. But like the fact that she has that briefcase, anything's possible in this match. I'm actually going to go against the grain and think that there's a cash in tonight or at SummerSlam in this match. I do think Io cashes in and becomes the champion. And I think this is a smokescreen to what we think is going to be the title picture on the women's side on SmackDown moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for, and like I said, like Parrish said, we agree with the fact that women deserve equality in the wrestling, especially in the WWE, especially in other companies, and that the cutting of women matches is terrible. I will also say, on a personal note, anytime I don't have to watch Becky Lynch on a PLE is a wonderful night. So, I'm fine with that.
You people from Boston really hate the real Irish, don't you?
Anyways, moving on to this match. I'm hoping for two things here. I'm hoping for Bianca Belair heel turn to finally happen. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm really hoping that tonight's the night that Bianca turns heel. Secondly, I'm with Parrish. It might be the outside shot. I think Io Shirai cashes in. I think she cashes in after the match.
Shirai too. No.
Yeah. Dude, I talked about her in NXT for a long time as Io Shirai. It still doesn't. It's Io Sky still doesn't click all the time.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you.
I think Asuka wins the match and then is immediately cashed in on by Io Sky when Bayley attacks and Shotzi runs Bayley off, and then Io Sky picks up the pieces, hits a moonsault, cashes in the briefcase. 1, 2, 3. So I think Asuka wins this match, but doesn't leave SummerSlam as the women's undisputed champion.
Andre, before I get to you, I want to ask Ed one thing, if you don't mind. Then who does Asuka beat?
Oh, I think Asuka absolutely pins Bianca.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I think you need that one last loss to make Bianca flip that switch completely and to just go full heel.
Okay. And Andre, sorry to cut you off. Stage is yours.
No. All good. A little different. I don't think there's going to be a cash in tonight. I think Sky's going to try. Of this match is going to thwart her from cashing it in. That's what I'm thinking. But the winner of this match for me personally, because I'm really looking forward to 3 of the best women wrestlers in WWE today. And like Bianca's been just like putting on bangers the last couple of years, just some of the best women's matches I've seen. But I think Charlotte Flair pinned Belair to win the WWE Women's Championship. And then it'll create that feud going forward. Yeah, but Sky's gonna come out after, but Charlotte something. And she's gonna she's gonna take out Sky to stop her from getting. But I'm gonna say it's Charlotte pinning Bianca Belair after Asuka hits her finish. She takes out Asuka, hits her finish, and pins Belair.
I can see that.
I have a scenario that I want to throw. As I was listening to what you guys are saying, I created a scenario. I have a feeling it's gonna come down in a weird way. Like I think Bayley, Io get involved. I think Shotzi comes out to take out Bayley, as that's fluttering in the background. Leaves Io kind of away, like there, but not really attended to. While this is going on, distracts maybe Asuka or whatever, but we see the KOD on Charlotte Flair. And just when Bianca finally can get that chance, Asuka's going to toss her out and pin Charlotte Flair for that 1-2-3 and steal the pin. Only then to allow Io to attack Asuka and cash in, because I have a feeling that we're going to move past SummerSlam with Bianca versus Charlotte in a separate feud. And I think this is where SmackDown women are ahead on the Raw women, because this is a main event feud and there's no championship around. And I think that is just going to create a gigantic depth on that division when you have talent like Bianca and Charlotte in a non-title feud.
If that happens, you've got 3 women's stories on SmackDown with Bayley and Shotzi. You would then move to Asuka and Io Sky, and you would still have Charlotte versus Bianca.
Yeah. And I think that's, especially with what we're seeing on the X and trending on the X, that's still fucking weird to say. I will say that. But I think it helps with the trend that we're seeing. I think that is something to make SmackDown a more must-see watch when it comes to the women action in WWE. And then, obviously, going forward, we're going to get Io against Asuka, because there's something in my head thinking Io Sky is going to be one of the next top babyface women on SmackDown in the next 4 to 5 months.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Very much so.
So Io for me, so Asuka for me and Parrish with an Io Sky cash in post match, and Andre's got Charlotte Flair with a failed cash in. Now, does she cash in the match start and she gets away, or does she just not ever cash in, Andre?
She doesn't
just so we're clear.
She does not get the cashing. Like, she goes to hand the briefcase, and Charlotte comes in and just smashes her, and then Io rolls out and she grabs her briefcase back and she runs off.
Okay. Just want to make sure we clarified a little bit there, just in case.
Yep. I have a feeling that we're going to see a moment, a big, substantial moment in this match. And I think that is going to be in response of the trend that we've been seeing on the social media involving the WWE women. And I think that's going to speak volume. Because the one thing I think is going to happen, we're going to see some shocks. We're going to see some surprises at SummerSlam. And I think Io cashing in and winning the title, which this is my prediction. I think I know I threw up that scenario.
Yeah.
And I'm going to agree with the scenario where Bianca has that in there. But then, or maybe, actually, here's a better one. Charlotte hits Asuka with her flipping
natural selection.
Thank you. I totally forgot that.
It's one of the other. They flip back and forth.
And then while Bianca and Charlotte fight out, I think Io cashes in mid-match and wins now a Fatal 4-Way. I think she copies Seth Rollins, but does it at SummerSlam.
What's next, Mr. Parrish?
I think we all know what's going to main event. I have what I think they should main event with, and that is Seth freaking Rollins defending his WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. I think this is beyond any belief. This match, I think, is the dark horse of the match of the night when it comes to the pure wrestling talent. I think Seth Rollins is going to showcase again why he is that guy, and Finn Balor is going to showcase why he also is that guy. What do you guys think?
Andre, you first, my friend.
All right. So I've got a scenario here. I know this is going to be match of the night. It's Finn Balor. It's Seth Rollins. These two are arguably two of the best wrestlers in this company. So my look at this is you have really good. I think you're going to have a stellar match up till the end, and then you're going to have Judgment Day start playing some shenanigans at the end. But Rollins is going to be able to fight off Dom. He's going to be able to fight off Mr. Priest. But the rest going to be distracted by those jerks or Rhea. And we're going to get a day member. JD McDonough. The pupil of Finn Balor. I think he joins. And this is where we get history repeating itself. Finn Balor takes the title from Seth Rollins. And that's my...
I like a lot of what you just said there. I don't think JD McDonough joins just yet. I do think that happens down the road at some point. But like Parrish said earlier, Ed apparently hates the Irish. You know what? I don't hate the Irish tonight. I'm taking Finn Balor. I think it's about time that Finn beats Seth again. I think that Judgment Day, having everybody with an accolade and a championship, makes for compelling television on screen with Senor Money in the Bank Damian Priest, with the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, with the NXT North American Champion and Dirty Dom Dom, and then the new World Heavyweight Champion Finn Balor. And you know what? The one thing that pushed me over the top, because I was back and forth on this all week, Seth Rollins has new shoes for tomorrow night's thing. You know what it says on the very back on the bottom of those shoes? 7-year bitch is on the bottom of his shoes. He posted on the X earlier this week that he has some new stuff out, and it says 7-year bitch on the bottom. That's the kind of gear you put out there when you're going to lose your championship to somebody that you truly admire, and you tell that 7-year story. I think this is it. I think this is where Finn wins that championship.
It's mighty incredible that it's been 7 years. It still blows my mind. It's been 7 years since these two faced off at SummerSlam. It's crazy. Oh, there it is.
There they are.
There it is. But think about it. Like that was 7 years ago. I still think about that debut or the call up of Finn Balor like it was only a couple years back. That's what it still feels like to me. It's been 7 goddamn years. I feel old.
Yeah. Just to think, it was almost 10 years ago the last time he ran the Bullet Club in New Japan.
Yeah, it's
making me sad, Ed.
This match has to. There at some point has to be a scenario with the Judgment Day where the numbers game matters. No, there's no match for Rhea Ripley. There's no match for Dirty Dom Mysterio. There's no match for Senior Money in the Bank Damian Priest. That means that they're all there to support Finn Balor in his quest to become the new world's champion. I think Seth Rollins is in a world of danger because he's underestimating the power of numbers, because so far he has scathed through the scenarios. I do think we could see some allies for Seth Rollins come out. But at the end of the day, I think one of the telling stories, and this is very much a foreshadow from Monday Night Raw, I don't think we see JD McDonough at SummerSlam. I would love it if we saw JD McDonough at SummerSlam. But I do think we see, after Monday, with Finn giving Damian Priest that cash-in, we see Finn Balor get assistance by Damian Priest to become the new world's heavyweight champion. And then right away gets the Edge treatment as Damian Priest Finn Balor and becomes the new world's heavyweight champion, thus kicking Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day and becoming the leader of the Judgment Day.
So you think we're getting 2 cash-ins, both successful, on the exact same night?
I'm thinking if I say both, I'm bound to get one, so I can't be completely wrong. And if I am, I just look like the biggest dumbass possible. But at the same time, this is SummerSlam. Go big or go home.
Makes sense. And when you talk about going big or going home, you're talking about our next match.
We got to. We got to talk about the tribal. What is this? Tribal what?
Tribal Combat.
Tribal Combat, where not only is the WWE Undisputed Universal title, whatever they want to call it, he has one championship. We can just call him the champion, because he really is the champion of WWE. Roman Reigns defends not only that title, but the title of the Tribal Chief against his cousin, Jey Uso. Main event, Jey Uso. In a match where, man, if there is an emotional moment to come out of this, it could be all guns blazing on the bloodline in this match. I have an opinion on this, but I want to listen to Andre's opinion on this match right now.
Okay, first thing I have to say is here, SmackDown, the freaking Tribal Combat with of was it Rikishi, and I think it was Fatu, or I can't. I'm not sure who the old guy was in there.
Sika.
Sika.
Sika. It was Sika. Okay, Sika. Okay,
that's Roman's dad. That's Roman's dad.
Okay, bro. Okay, but to have both those men show up and then do that video and just set it up, and then Paul Heyman and James and just I don't know. I am so looking. This is the thing in WWE that has me interested. Wow, Ed is a ghost.
Right now, Ed's pixelation has me interested.
But this
he looks like a scene from the Pixels movie right now.
But yeah, this has been arguably the best storyline going for ever in WWE. And to see this match and have Jey Uso into the main event like he has, I think is absolutely tremendous. And I don't know, these two just, I cannot wait for this match. I think we all know how it's ending. It's Roman Reigns defeating Jey Uso, but Jimmy is going to turn on Jey. Jimmy is going to the hell out of Jey Uso, and we're going to get Roman Reigns off with the spear. But like, goddamn, am I excited to see what these two do in that match? It's gonna be this.
Ed.
Yes. So
we can hear you just fine, but we see you not at all.
All right.
We can't see
I was gonna say everything on my end looks good for the camera, but I'll just turn it off to make it easier. So, you know what? I agree with Andre for a lot of the things, but you know what? I can't do it. This is going to be the crowning moment. This is going to be the moment where main event Jey Uso becomes the undisputed Universal World Champion, and he defeats and pins Roman Reigns in Tribal Combat. Jey Uso is going to defeat Roman Reigns with the help of his brothers, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, when Solo turns on Roman and falls in line with his brother, Jey Uso.
I thought the Sika Rikishi stuff again was very interesting. Just like how we see it. But I actually feel we're gonna see both Sika and Rikishi in attendance at Ford Field, and I have a feeling we're gonna see Rikishi in the ring at Ford Field. And I think when push comes to shove, I think Rikishi is going to push Solo out of the way and acknowledge his tribal chief, that is Roman Reigns. And we're going to get that as our finale. As Rikishi, the father of not only Solo Sikoa, but Jimmy and Jey Uso, acknowledging the tribal chief, that is Roman Reigns, as we conclude the SummerSlam.
Damn.
So I'm on the island of Jey Uso's relevancy by myself, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, like way off on its little tiny floating island that's made of ice that is slowly melting. It's slowly melting away.
But yes or no?
So Andre, where can we find you the rest of this week, buddy?
You can find me over on my show, on my channel, youtube.com/@Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk. You can find me on TikTok, Hive, Blue Sky, Mastodon, @that Canada guy. You can find me on Instagram and Thread @that Candidate dude. Yeah, those, and then and then you can find the replays of all my stuff at youtube.com/@Backbreaker. Mike the Rest channel. You can find all the replays of my stuff there. And that's where you can find me.
So what are you and Melball talking about this week? Are you guys still covering the 5-star Grand Prix and the G1, correct?
Yes, as we finish, I'm going into a recording with Mel. We're going to be talking nights 2 and 3 of the Stardom 5-star Grand Prix. And then I'll cut up for the NJPW G1 pay-per-view. And more shows happen this weekend. And we'll be covering those next week, along with more Stardom next week.
Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on the X at EdFries12584. I don't need no blue skies. I like my gray skies. I don't need no new threads. I got a perfectly good shirt right here. You can also find me in all my gaming content on Twitch at EdFries2002. You can also find me every Tuesday night with the natural, the wonderful Asher Bizarro, as we talk all things NXT on Taking Over. Yes, Taking Over, not any of the other shows that I call it when I do the broadcast itself, but Taking Over. And of course, you can find me with this man over there at the other side of the screen every Wednesday night at some point on a Wednesday night, depending on work schedules, as we go ahead and compete in the new Season 2 of Wrestle Draft as I try to reclaim the top spot. I'm working hard. This week we have the first premium live event coming up, Hell in a Cell. That'll be this Wednesday night. You can go ahead and check out the YouTube channel later today when we go ahead and upload the first 4 weeks of Season 2. That'll be uploaded later this morning.
That is awesome stuff. And before I quickly get to where you can find me, I'm going to throw this down. As you see underneath the paper previews banner, you see Rogue Energy, and you can also go to rogueenergy.com and you can look at all their fine stuff, as I believe they just got all their flavors back in stock. So if you want that old-fashioned rocket pop, you're in luck. If you want to get a blue raspberry, like one of my favorites, you're in luck. If you want to get Ed's favorite in the watermelon, you should be in luck. And if you want to get Melball's blood orange, you'll be in luck. But make sure that at the end of that purchase, when you're in that shopping cart and you're in that checkout screen, and it asks you about a promo code, you use OLE Pods. Why? Because it saves you 10% off that order. And you can use that on any time you shop at rogueenergy.com. But until then, you can find me on the X at Chris Parrish, the Instagram and the threads at Chris.Parrish, on Twitch at the Chris Parrish, YouTube at Chris Parrish, Kick at Chris Parrish. But the one thing you can find me on is every Sunday with Busting Out, as tomorrow we get a little weird because we have Busting 51. Yes, a nice little pun off Area 51. But we also have a special guest. We have Tom Collahue, the host of all that beautiful SmackDown watch-alongs. Also, Ed, I know you're a great friend of him.
I am indeed. Spoiler warning.
Exactly. And one of the best guys to follow. So make sure you're checking that out every Monday with the Monday Night Raw watch-along. By the way, shirts are available on Redbubble. Come check us out on Monday and you'll find out that link. And then, as you said, Ed, every Wednesday, Wrestle Draft. So, yeah, great amount of content coming up this week and next week. So make sure you're checking out everything that is OLE. But until then,
also later,
this has been
later tonight.
Sure.
Later tonight, join me, Chris Best, and OMD, and potentially Chris Parrish as we go ahead and recap the SummerSlam card as we do pay-per reviews later tonight.
Yeah, we're going to either tell you how great it is or crap on it. It depends. You want to see it because the one thing, we'll give it to you straight. But yeah. But for us, for Andre, for Ed, or what we see of Ed, this has been Paper Previews. We thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hope you enjoy SummerSlam tonight. We'll see you a little later on. Have a good evening.